Hello lovely people, my name is Tina, I'm head of design of VectoriaDesigns and I have another quick, simple, easy tutorial for you how to make these lovely fabric covered notebooks. I promise you, they're quickly made, they're lovely. Most of the parts are actually just upcycled and I think the clever crafters amongst you can make these completely from recycled items. And if you make a lot of these in lovely different colors and patterns, you can sell these online or at craft fairs or for a charity. So if you have a little bit of time and you have all the tools and materials that you need, let's make a notebook. We're going to start with a piece of cardboard from my pantry. This is a very thin cardboard, but it's pretty sturdy. So if you have a choice, choose the sturdier one. And the size of this cardboard is, obviously choose your own sizes, but I'm going to give you my measurements anyway. This piece is 8 1/4 by 5 3/4 inch. And what I'm going to do is take a piece of fabric that has been ironed and a little bit larger. Actually, it's a lot larger, but make sure there's a little bit of overlap. This is too much, but I'm going to cut it later. And I'm going to glue this on. I'm going to glue this on the non-printed side because some fabrics are a little bit see-through. And if you put it on this side, now, you might not see it with this fabric, but some fabrics are a little bit more sheer and you would see it, and the printed side will be completely covered anyway. So I'm gonna put it on this side and I'm gonna use some tacky glue for this, regular old tacky glue. Now, since I am working with fabric, I am going to spread it out a little bit with a brush. But first I'm gonna apply it. Come as close to the edges as possible so you don't have any air gaps on the edges where the fabric will come loose, you know what I mean. There. Let's see what we can do with that. So if you have a spatula or something to spread out the glue a little bit, I recommend to do that. Because otherwise you will get these lines in the fabric that are a little bit more, a bit of a, texture or relief, and we want it very flat. So that's why I'm using the brush. It's actually a good practice to do that when you're working with fabric. I'm gonna put a little bit more in the center, I guess. Just a little bit. Now, this tacky glue is a little bit more watery than Aline's tacky glue. Just saying, you might see it. But I spread it out very evenly. So now I'm going to apply. And now I'm going to apply my fabric as much in the center as possible. See, that's the benefit of having too much extra. Yeah, you see with the moisture, you see the cardboard already curling up a little bit. So, and now let this dry, but to do it faster and prevent this from curling too much with my kind of watery tacky glue, I'm gonna quickly use the hairdryer. So this is a lot drier right now. I'm gonna turn it around and now I'm going to trim the edges around this cardboard, about 1/2 inch on each side, like 1.5 centimeters or so. Now you can see that I glued the fabric a little bit wonky on my cardboard. Now, since this is just one color of fabric, it doesn't matter so much, but I would try to prevent it because you can see the grain actually. If you have a pattern like this one, it would definitely really stand out if you have it wonky. So take more attention than I did. Okay, now I'm gonna cut the edges a little bit so it will just be easier to work with and the fabric won't bulk up as much. This is so easy. This is so easy, she says, and then she manages to now the words are lost on me. Then she manages to glue on the fabric wonky. That's because I'm thinking it's too easy. Okay, and now the corners, I'm gonna miter them a little bit, but I'm gonna keep a tiny little bit from the corner so I don't have any naked corners later on. Not too much either, because otherwise you have like these fluffy corners. And you see I'm going in quite straight, so not super angled like this, so quite straight of an angle. Then I angle back for the other one. So the angles of these tabs will be quite straight. Bit closer, yes. Fabric or paper are two very different mediums. Paper is a lot more easy to work with than fabric, but for this project it should be super simple. Turn, last one, angle, and go. That's it. Now I'm going to glue these over. Now instead of putting the glue on the tabs like I would normally do when this would be paper, I'm going to put the glue on the edges of the cardboard so it doesn't seep the fabric with all the glue immediately. So again, just gonna go around it with kind of a bead, not too little as well, not too much. That's why I'm wiggling, so I have a little bit more than just a thin line. Okay, and again, just for aesthetic reasons, I'm gonna quickly smear this out a little bit more. I'm probably going to do that with the paper as well. There. It's okay if you go over the edge, because yeah, something will come over that anyway. Okay, and now I'm gonna pull the fabric a little bit. I'm gonna use my nails. I don't have a lot of nail, but what I have, I'm gonna use to pull it against the edge of the cardboard so we don't have any like these wonky pockets. Unwanted pockets. There, this is nice and smooth. I'm gonna turn it around. First the other long edge, same thing. Use your fingers. This is a very tactile piece of craft project, a very tactile craft project, which is very therapeutic. That's why I love it so much. Okay, this has been done nice, and now I'm gonna do the sides. Again, pull it. Yeah, some of the glue is gonna come through the fabric, but that's okay. It'll dry clear anyway. Now the last one. Okay, if you have a little bit of too much fabric in the corners, just cut them off. There, yeah, I have these little ones, but that's the charm. Okay. And then I have a piece of cardstock that I'm going to glue in the center, and the size of the cardstock is so 1/4 of an inch less high and less wide, which means if I put it in the center, I have 1/8 of an inch all around. And that means the size is 8 by 5.5. And I'm gonna again use my glue. I prefer to use wet glue instead of double-sided tape here, because it makes your craft project a little bit more workable. Because it's a book that's going to close. If it's super fixated in one place from the very start, it's going to make it hard. If you're making thin covered bookies, it's okay to use one sheet for the inside, but otherwise it's gonna be a little bit of a pain, so that's why I'm using glue anyway. And again, I'm gonna use my brush because of this very, very watery tacky glue. Now I say very, very watery, I think it's just normal watery in comparison with other, but it's easily spread out, so that's why I like it. All glue has its ups and downs, I guess. If you have your favorite glue, please put it in the comments and tell me what it is and what you're using it for. And if you have this magic glue that works for everything, please share it. Okay, all to the edges. Okay. See, it's very wet, it's already starting to curl. I'm gonna place this exactly in the center. No, Not gonna measure, I'm gonna use my eyes. Got them for something. Let's see. Ooh, that's not okay. I had some glue here left. I'm gonna clean my workspace in a second. So, okay, with this one again, just gonna quickly dry it with my hairdryer. So, I spilled a little bit of glue here, so I really hope this will disappear over time, in a few hours perhaps, or sooner. If you use this as a handmade gift, this stain is charming. If you're planning on selling these, try not to have stains. Okay, so now I'm gonna try to fold this in half. I should have done that before. Okay, do this carefully. Actually, I should have done this, but it's okay, it works now as well. Should have done this after I put on the fabric, before I put on the centerpiece. But this will work. Okay, I'm gonna first use my bone folder like this instead of scraping over the fabric so I wouldn't damage it. Now I can. There we go. Obviously you're gonna have a little bit of a wrinkle in the center, but that's okay. It adds to the charm, not to the I don't know what I'm doing charm, but to the handmade book charm. There are different types of charms, you know. Okay, so let's get some papers in here. And for that I actually cut papers quite a bit from an old magazine that was some sort of a diary thingy where you can write some stuff in, but I never used it. There's so much room to write on. So if you have some scrap paper that you would normally toss in the bin, or the back is printed but the front is still writable, use it. It's like upcycled. This is super upcycled. I mean, the cover is upcycled from the box. The fabric could be, okay, it wasn't, but it could have been an old skirt or an old blouse or whatever. And these pages are from an old magazine or from the office, like forms who were never used, but the back is still writable. Okay, I'm gonna fold these in half. This. So, by the way, I have 20 papers on top of each other, fold in half. I think this is 80 grams or maybe 90, I'm not sure. But 20, it's quite a big packet, but that's okay for here. We're gonna keep it easy, fold it in half. Now, when you fold a stack of papers in half and the stack is pretty thick, it will form like a point here. You will see it. Now, normally, or a lot of the times, I would cut it straight off. But for this one, it's really, really not necessary. And I'm not gonna do it. Okay, let's poke some holes. A smart person would put clips on this. I'm smart, but I'm also a little bit lazy. Okay, and I'm gonna poke a hole. You can choose wherever you poke your holes. 3 holes, you can put like one here and one here and one here or something if you want something fancy. But I'm just gonna go really, really traditional. I am going to go from the side 1 1/4 inch inwards. Yes, it's a big pack, so I'm pushing. And from the other side as well, 1 1/4 inch. There we go. And in the center, which will be 2 3/4. Yes. And you see, I'm going from the inside out. Not only will you see the fold more clearly from the inside out, also the ugly bits, let's see if you turn it around, these bits will be a little bit ugly, will be hidden next to the cover. And in the center you will have very nice holes. And what I'm going to do now is take the inner piece. I'm going to take my cover, turn it around. Stain, please disappear. Okay, turn it around. Position this in the center. So I'm just eyeballing it so I will have equal amount of cover length on this side and that side. There. Making sure this will be the center. And then I'm just gonna go through these 3 holes again. And there, I have my 3 holes perfectly in place. And now it's time to, I'm gonna put this on top again. Sew this in here and then the book's ready. Yeah, that's simple. So I have some cord here. I think this is meant to crochet or do other crafts. And I used a little bit of an contrasting color here. And I'm going to use a lot because you'll see I'm going to use a lot for the closure at the same time. So I have 12, 24, 36, 40, 42. Well, let's take 43. You can also always cut some off later. So I'm having 43 inches for the wrapping, for the sewing, and a little bit extra for my hands to hold on to when I'm sewing this thing in. It's really easy, I promise. So, threading my needle. If you have a pattern, make sure the right sides are up, etc. If you have printed pages as well. Take your signatures and go from the inside out through the middle hole. Also through the middle hole, in the cover, out. Let's get these out. Okay. And then for the tail, you can use a clip to keep it here on the cover or something. That's a smart thing to do. Or you can use a paper clip to just hold it in place. I'm just going to use my thumb. It's a small book. Okay. And I'm going to go either the top of the bottom one. It really doesn't matter. Go back in through the cover. And you're going to have to check a little bit to go through these stack of pages as well. There we go. Pull the needle and back in. Yeah, I made pretty large holes with this thing so I could easily get my quite thick thread through and my needle, my embroidery needle. Okay, make sure it is tight and then go all the way to the other hole back out. First through the pages and then check where the hole is for the cover. Back out. Okay. Make sure it's tight. I'm not doing something special here, just didn't tighten it. Okay, make sure it's tight and then go back in through the middle hole. And it might be, like in my case, that you still have to dig a little bit to find, or to just peek to find the hole again. And I'm gonna make sure my needle comes out the other side of this middle thread than this tail. If you don't, you can just quickly put it under the thread with your needle. Okay, so I'm gonna pull this so it's tight. It is tight here, very important. I have the tail on this side. You see, this is just loose. The other end on this side. And now I'm going to make a double knot. Easy peasy. I'm going to cut off the excess. And now I'm going to go back out through the middle hole. Could be a little fiddly, but that's why I made such a large hole. Not large, larger than I usually do. And just go out. If you have problems pulling your needle out, take some pliers and pull it out. Just only once there, you have to do it. Almost there. I don't need pliers because I'm a strong, independent woman. Okay, see? So, the needle can come off and our book is ready. Look at this. Look how pretty this is. I still feel it's a little bit wet, but it's usable now. So this is the back. This will be the front. These are all the pages of my little bookie. And I'm just close, gonna go like 1, 2, 3, and just tie this in and my little book is ready. And you can make a ton of these. I have some more here. Look how pretty these are, and they're so quickly made. So if you would like to craft a lot of these to sell on craft fairs or for charity or something, make a little factory. Cut a bunch of these. Then cut a bunch of fabrics. Make sure your stuff is all there, and then just, when you're ready, glue on fabric, glue on fabric, glue on fabric, glue on fabric. Let them dry. And then to the first one again. Glue fabric over, glue fabric over, glue fabric over, glue fabric over. Fold in half, fold in half, fold in half, fold in half. Glue in the centerpiece, so etc, etc. So you can make a bunch of these in quite a small time if you do the factory method. Okay, I really hope you enjoyed this little tutorial. I really love these. They're so simple to make. You can put a little charm on the end of the cord or something, or just keep them simple, modern and plain like these. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you have some friends that you are sure of they would like this video as well, they like to learn this, don't hesitate to share the link. See you next time. Bye bye.